You are welcome to this channel. Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe. Bloodshed comment. Arrest Amaechi before it's too late. Who said this? CSO tells DSS, police, AGF. A civil society group, the Coalition for the Defense of Nigeria's Democracy, CDND, has called for the immediate arrest and prosecution of former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amaechi, over recent public remarks which he described as inciting, dangerous, and indistinguishable from the separatist rhetoric of Nnamdi Kanu. Amaechi, who recently defected from the All Progressive Congress APC to the African Democratic Congress ADC, made the controversial comments on Thursday during the launch of the 2025 Nigeria Social Cohesion Survey report by the African Polling Institute in Abuja. In a statement issued in Abuja and signed by its national president, Dr. Rufus Obadiah, CDND said Amaechi's remarks, including a reference to revolution and bloodshed, represent a clear and present threat to Nigeria's fragile stability and accused the former minister of stoking insurrection as a political strategy ahead of the 2027 elections. Amaechi said the only way to stop President Bola Tinubu 2027 is for Nigerians to take their fate into their own hands, and then went further to suggest that no revolution can succeed without blood. These are not harmless metaphors. These are calculated words from a man who once sat at the highest tables of power and now wishes to ignite unrest as a path to the presidency. Obadiah stated. CND and CDND said it was deeply alarmed by the former minister's attempt to draw parallel between Nigeria and countries like Bangladesh and Peru, where mass protests have resulted in government overthrows. When you cite example of foreign uprisings, celebrate the outcomes, and lament that Nigeria is too docile, you are clearly inciting civil unrest. The law must not treat this lightly. There is no meaningful difference between Rotimi Amaechi and Nnamdi Kanu in this context. Both have used inflammatory languages, promoted civic disobedience, and hinted at bloodshed to advance their political causes, the group stated. Amaechi, who governed Rivers State from 2007 to 2015 and served as Nigeria's Minister of Transportation under President Muhammadu Buhari from 2015 to 2023, recently declared his intention to run for president in 2027 on the platform of the ADC. According to him, he needs only one term to turn the country around. But CDND dismissed the declarations as self-righteous opportunism from a man who spent 16 years in public office with little to show. Rotimi Amaechi has now worked in the private sector for even a day in his life. Rotimi Amaechi has never worked in the private sector for even a day in his life. He moved from being Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly to governor for 8 years, then minister for another 8 years, all within the public purse. And yet, Nigeria's transport sector remains in shambles. Our seaports dysfunctional, and the rail projects he championed mired in debt, opacity, and inflation, Obadiah said. The group described Amaechi's record as Minister of Transportation as underwhelming and overhyped, citing failed rail expansions, delays in infrastructure delivery, and resolved questions around multi-billion-dollar Chinese loans used to fund projects. What exactly is Rotimi Amaechi campaigning on? The Chinese rail loans that mortgage our sovereignty, the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail that never took off, or the Lagos-Ibadan railway that remains incomplete despite fanfare and borrowing. Let Nigerians not be deceived by fiery speeches. Amaechi's track record is not a reformer's resume. It is an indictment, Obadiah stated. CDND further criticized Amaechi's remark, blaming citizens for their own helplessness in the face of elite domination. calling it a stunningly arrogant and morally bankrupt position. How dare he tell Nigerians they made themselves helpless? Was it the ordinary citizen who awarded inflated contracts, looted security votes, or sabotaged anti-corruption agencies? The same elites who made a mess of governance are now mocking the people they failed. It is the height of insensitivity, the group stated. In his Thursday comment, Amaechi said, the elites who are stealing Nigerian money are not up to 100,000. But you have 200 million Nigerians who can fight 100,000 men. You sit down in your house and complain and grumble. What makes you think the elites will move their hands completely? CDND described the statement as a call to arms disguised as political analysis. The leader with a conscience should ever frame politics as a battle of Nigerians versus elites or suggest that resistance requires violence. This is how civil wars begin. The Buhari government prosecuted Nnamdi Kanu for far less provocative statements. Why is Amaechi still walking free? Obadiah asked. The group said Nigerian security agencies must act swiftly to investigate and prosecute Amaechi to deter other political actors from adopting radical rhetoric in pursuit of power. We call on the Inspector General of Police, the Department of State Services, and the Office of the Attorney General to treat Amaechi's speech as a matter of national security. No democracy survives when former ministers openly romanticize bloodshed. If Nnamdi Kanu's radio was considered treasonous, then Amaechi's microphone must not become a license for anarchy, the statement read. The group also warned that the ADC must distance itself from what it called extremist populism or risk becoming a safe harbor for political actors who traffic in chaos. The African Democratic Congress must make it clear whether it stands for democratic dialogue or revolutionary violence. The 2027 election is not a war, and parties that treat it as such must be held accountable, Obadiah said. CDND noted that Amichi's comments about wanting to japa but being stopped by his wife are an example of cosmetic humility masking deep political entitlement. When you have held office for 16 years and failed to deliver, the next step is not revolution, it is reflection and accountability. The problem is that Nigeria's political class, of which Amaechi is a founding member, has no shame. They believe they can burn the house they help ruin and then return to rebuild it with our lives and blood. Nigerians must reject this madness, the group said. Those are the conclusion of the group as regards the situation. Keep liking. Don't forget to support us on this channel. Give us your thumbs up. Yes, give us your like, and don't forget to subscribe and please share. Thank you.